Welcome everybody to the post-game show for the Bolt Standard podcast, coming to you post-game after a tough week 4 loss, 21-18 loss to the New York Giants and their rookie QB Jackson Dart. A lot of things to get into, Justin, man. I'll kick it off with you, bro. How you feeling after that performance today?
Not good. Not good, man. Would have been wonderful to start 4-0 on the year. Obviously after we went out to just a great start, 3-0 on the season and 3-0 in the division to lose a game on the road to the Giants, who obviously they were 0-3 coming into the game. Yeah, different signal caller out there. They got, Jackson Dart making his first start. When he's obviously completely different than Russ. I mean, he's a lot more athletic, which he showed that today. Definitely was not afraid to use his legs. Was out there making plays on the ground, and he was making some timely throws too. So I did think he was. There were at times where he might have been a little flustered, but for the most part, I mean, he honestly seemed pretty comfortable all game, to be honest.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, just not a good showing on offense or defense. Lad, like where is Lad? Like where is Lad? Like I,
great
I'm
question.
I'm kind of I really don't get it. Because he's someone who obviously, that year he had, the first year rookie, lit it up, and there was no help around him. So it's like to see what he did in year one with no help around him, now seeing that there's obviously Keenan Allen's back, QJ taking a big step forward. Um, Defenses are keening in on him a little bit more. I could see that, but it's just like it just seems like he's just a non-factor in a lot of these games, and I won't say it's concerning, but because it's week four. Like I'm not stressed or anything, but it's just weird not seeing Lad make plays, and it just seems like everything is QJ or Keenan.
Yeah,
So and it's not like he's not being targeted. I mean, I think he had 5 targets this game, I believe it was. Like we
six
just
targets today.
oh 6, yeah. So we're just not seeing him. And like I said, to me, it's just odd. I do want to point out, I mean, I loved Omarion Hampton's game today. I wish we would have actually ran the ball more today. I mean, it just seemed like early in the game, obviously, every game we've started pass heavy, which I'm cool with, man. We got arguably best quarterback in the league. I don't care what no one says. Like this guy throwing the ball, like I'm cool with him throwing as much as he wants
Right,
to.
right.
But the times it looked like we did want to run it and we did hand it off, we were getting some pretty good running. I mean, you look at the O line. I mean, we were down 3 starters. And
Yeah,
when you look at that, well, 3 starters after Joe Alt went out. Thankfully it's only a high ankle sprain. There's nothing, more serious than that. I mean, high ankle sprain can hold you out a couple weeks, but
yeah,
I'll take that over the the more negative type of injury. So
yeah.
down 3 starters on the O line. We clearly don't have a good pass blocking unit. Against that type of pass rushing unit, I would have loved to see us run the ball more. 12 carries, 128 yards for Hampton. Obviously, he had that long of 54, and then he had another one that was pretty long, so like a 28-yard run. Um, so yeah, it inflated the numbers a little bit, but outside of that, it was 10 carries for about 50 yards. So he was averaging 5 yards a carry. I mean, he was
Yeah.
running really well. Why are we not running the ball more? So
Yeah.
like I said, that to me was just confusing as well. So just that's kind of where I'll start. But then I'll pass it back over to you because I'm sure you got a lot that you took away as well.
Yeah, I thought it was a really concerning effort defensively. The stats will show that we ended up with 5 sacks on him, but that's a rookie QB that's held the ball a lot. A lot of those were him, like covered sacks, a few of them.
Mhm.
Um, but I just don't know what this is the first time I've ever questioned Minter's defense in his philosophy today. I didn't really see what the game plan was. I thought. Honestly, he should have heated him up a little bit more, and then maybe it's halfway on the players too. Because at times when we did send a blitz, we sent five a couple times, and I saw that we weren't even close. Usually, when the blitz is sent, you got to at least apply some type of pressure. And I remember multiple occasions where, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and we send the blitz, and nobody even gets close to getting home. So. I honestly thought, maybe Derwin should have been sent a little bit more, or Henley. I don't remember him blitzing a ton. Definitely didn't have a sack, so um, I don't think he was in the backfield like he needed to be. I know he's still recovering. They talked about on the broadcast that he lost 15 pounds, I believe it was, and he's still trying to gain that weight back. But if you're out there, you got to make plays, and if not, then send Troy Dye on the blitz, send somebody. I really it's easy to say, because Derwin's so good, but I really wanted to see him get after Dart a little bit more, because I think that's would get in his head. Really, I think from the opening drive, we allowed him and them as a team to get too much confidence. And it goes on both sides. Starting with the offense, we got the ball first, and Ladd has a bad drop on third down that causes us to punt. And then they go 9 plays, 89 yards right down the field with primarily running the ball, a couple easy throws over the middle. Our zones were just all out of whack, letting Neighbors fall wherever he wanted to before he got hurt. He was wide open on that first drive. A lot of other guys were just right there, the same way that the Chiefs were attacking us in that third quarter, where it was 6 yards, 7 yards downfield, just sitting right in that zone, right in the linebacker type area, and wide open. Hooking into that curl flat zone, and he was hitting them. Dart really is going to get a lot of credit for leading the team to a win. He wasn't that impressive to me as far as we didn't force him to make plays. He took what we gave him, 111 yards, 13 completions, 20 attempts, nothing special. He ran it for 54, which that was my other problem was we know on third down he's going to scramble and he's going to look to scramble after that first read. And for some reason we didn't have a spy more often. So I'm putting a lot of this on Minter for that defensive performance and really the players. And I can't just blame Minter because he's not out there. So I thought there could have been a lot more energy that we brought, and we allowed them to have energy after the way we started the game. Um, and offensively, I think Roman's play calling. You mentioned it, the lack of a rushing attack. 12 carries is not enough. When you're down three starters, and I touched on the O-line, even with Alt there, being down two starters, um, you got to run the ball a little bit more, get those pass rushers off balance, set Herbert up into third and manageable, not so where they know a pass play is coming. You don't want Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau just lining Herbert up, and that's pretty much what they did all day long. 41 pass attempts to 12 rushing attempts is not good offense in my opinion, especially with the team we're playing against. Like
No.
I know Herbert's great, and I know they had a bad secondary, but their secondary is better when the pass rush gets there. And you mentioned last week or leading into this week on the preview episode how Abdul Carter played more pass coverage last week, inside linebacker. Well, guess what? He didn't do this week. Any
Yeah.
inside linebacker, he was after us all game long. He had like his breakout game going against our guys, and Burns was back there all day long. It was only 2 sacks that they were credited for. But Next Gen Stats had us at 18 pressures, way too many. 23 pressures week 3, 18 in week 4. So it's getting very, very concerning. Harbaugh mentioned in his post-game presser that Herbert's taking way too many hits. He cannot keep that up. And we can't keep that up if we expect to be a great team because other great teams that will play down the road are going to have good D lines or people that are going to get after us, or that's what they're going to attack. They're going to blitz us. They're going to send a house and make us get the ball out quick. So, one other stat, real quick, and then we'll jump into, other things that we saw. Mina Kimes tweeted this out. Um, he had a 50% pressure rate, Justin Herbert faced that, and still was getting the ball out at 2.5 seconds, 2.56 seconds, time to throw. So he's getting the ball out and not taking a bunch of sacks, but like 50% pressure rate is crazy. And then if you date back to last week, when it's a four-man rush, we've been pressured over 60% of the time on our dropbacks in the last 2 weeks. Two good D lines, Denver and New York, probably two of the top 5 units in the game, but still, when we drop back and you're getting pressured 60% of the time, it's not a conducive to the offense, which goes back to my point, why aren't we running the ball more? So I just thought that Roman could have helped us out and gave the ball to Aid a little bit more. So yeah, definitely disappointing. Um, are there any other spots that you want to highlight today from like key moments or players that you thought could have showed you a little bit more?
No, I mean, I think you touched on a lot of it, especially defensively. I mean, it just wasn't a good showing from the unit. Don't think, especially on our. I just and we talked about it before the call, but just like that third down defense was pitiful. It's like to me, I felt like we ran the same defense every single time on third down,
Yes,
where it
yeah.
was like just a blank, a little zone. We didn't send much pressure. Maybe four, maybe sent an extra guy. Weren't getting home, and then every single time you just saw them hitting somebody over the middle, whether it was Theo Johnson or if it was
Yeah.
Slayton just sitting up in the zone. It was just time after time. And I wanted to pull the stats, but I really didn't even care too much. It happened way too often, but they were great on third downs. I want to say they converted either 60 or 70%. It was something like that. I can't
7 of
remember.
15.
Oh, so okay, so I think it must have got a little bit worse as the game went on, but at some point they were like 6 for 10,
Yeah, our
converting on
last
third
couple of
downs.
drives, we slowed them down and they gave
Yeah.
put ourselves in a position to maybe have a chance, but then our own line never gave us a chance when we got the ball back. But yeah, 7 of 15 to
No.
finish.
So just not good. Just not good. It was just too soft of coverages. And their top guys out the game. I mean, there's no Malik Neighbors. I mean, who are you scared of? I mean, you scared of Slayton, you scared of Wandale, Theo Johnson. Who are you scared of? Like, let's be more aggressive. It just didn't make sense. Like you said, it was a questionable game plan and game calling by Minner, who, like I said, we still love. We still think that he's the best in the business, but like that was just a weird way to call that game against that type of team knowing what they wanted to do. They wanted to run the football. They was using Dart's legs. Their top pass catcher was out. It was really weird. It was really weird
Yeah.
to see that happen. And just like no adjustments really. I felt like that's one thing I felt like Minner kind of hangs his hat on. Like you see him make like in-game adjustments like throughout the game. Like it doesn't need to wait till halftime to see those adjustments. You see those in game. It's like, oh man, they got beat on this play, or oh man, they ran certain similar concepts and got us like twice. You saw how Minner adjusted. I saw no adjustments really, and if there was adjustments, we just didn't execute them. But it just
Yeah.
didn't seem like it.
Yeah, and overall really sloppy too. I mean, we had two turnovers, which Justin threw two tough
But
ones.
like,
One that we fell,
and not to cut you off, but I hate those too.
Yep.
I hate the turnovers that are turnovers, but it's like, yeah, Herbert threw two interceptions, but it's like Dexter Lawrence made a great play. Like, I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
D lineman, they bat passes down. That one got tipped up in the air. He caught it, made a great play. Justin Herbert saved him. Obviously, tackled him like on a 2 or 3 yard line, whatever it was. And then his other pick, they ran a route concept where it's like a rub route, it's like a pick concept, and Conklin runs into Lad McConkey, and Lad McConkey
yeah,
falls down. Not a cornerback is the only guy over there. Interception. It's like, and both of those turnovers got them like within the 10 yard line. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So it's like, yeah, they're gonna score points on those turnovers, and that literally was the game. Like that if we didn't have those turnovers, anything can happen. But they
Yes.
got 11 points over those two turnovers. We lost by three.
Right.
So
And then but that just goes to also we had no takeaways, regardless of how they got them, right?
yeah,
They got them. And we were unable to force that from Jackson Dart. Not even a fumble or anything like,
no,
my lock didn't hit because he never threw a pick. So, which was unfortunate. I just don't see why we didn't, do something more creative defensively. Like we kept it very vanilla, which made it kind of easy on Jackson, I thought, to just
hmm
whatever. And he was going to be coached up on it. I bet if I had to guess, what Dayball and them looked at was the film and knowing the Chargers don't want to get beat deep. So especially with no neighbors, there's no guy that's going to threaten you deep anyways. So
Nope.
why aren't we pressing up a little bit more, taking away some of those, down beneath zones? I know that's Minter saying.
Yeah,
Maybe he'll have an answer for that. I'll have to go check the press conference or when he gets asked later this week. But another thing that goes with just being sloppy, 14 penalties. That's not Jim Harbaugh football. 107 penalty yards we gave up.
Mm.
You don't win the game like that. If you look at the rest of the stats, there's no reason that they should have won that game. Now, we also don't have a ton of stats to show that we should have outside of the way we ran the ball. So it just
Yeah.
shows that we should have done a little bit more on the ground. There's a lot of things to highlight as far as that goes. I just think it's just a tough performance. I don't think we thought we would go undefeated. Undefeated is
No.
asking a lot, but I just think it's disappointing to lose a game like this. Like if we lost in, some Herculean effort to other teams or even to them if they played a great game, a great football game, but I don't think they played a great football to game. We set them up in the goal line, like you said, both interceptions they returned inside the 5 yard line. So that's two possessions right there. We're in the middle of being able to flip the field, and when they punt from their own end zone, they had to punt from the 1 yard line. I believe that was late third quarter, early fourth quarter. He kicks it all the way to the 30, and then our return game too. I need to touch on that. Our return game is pitiful. Even before Davis got hurt, he wasn't great. And I don't know what Still's doing back there, but it's not being returned very well. And then the kickoff returns haven't been great either.
No.
Hopkins isn't much. Vidal. We need to find something better back there. but he punts it to the 30 and we return like 5 yards. Then we
Yeah,
do later in the fourth, middle of the fourth quarter, and he punts it 25 yards to their 45. Like
botched it. Just
so
botched it.
many things that just went like that you can't do, so many negatives, and that's how you lose a game in this league. You walk into New York thinking an 0-3 team is going to just roll over for you, but you should have known with Jackson Dart they're rejuvenated, and people said the right things this week, but their performance didn't show that their mentality matched what their words said.
No. You hit the nail on the head, man. Just all those different phases, man. We literally lost it at all phases. We didn't play clean game at any phase, and we just didn't execute. Like you said, like, oh man, I don't know what Tariq still was doing back there on punt return. That was just it just didn't make any sense. And then he's running lateral the whole time. Like I'm like, can you get upfield? Like and just so timid and just like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. He doesn't need to be back there. If he's gonna be back
No.
there to fair catch it, all right, let him do that. But like not to
Yeah.
make returns. I mean, it doesn't. It's not making sense.
Like if Vlad's not going to be involved in the passing game as much, throw him back there to punt return. He caught the last one, he fair caught it, but like I'll at least
Yeah,
take him being a weapon back there. He knows what he's doing. He's done it before,
yeah.
and he's put him back there last year.
It's an
Um,
offensive player. I mean, I would assume I would like I get it. There are some defensive players that make returns and they're really good and they can see the field and different things like that. But like I would rather have a receiver. I'd rather have a receiver out there than a corner. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because they're just not used to that type of stuff and getting hit. You don't see it a lot.
yeah,
And it was just evident. And still, every time you saw him about to get contact, it was just like he wasn't trying to make a play. Like it was like,
no,
all right, let me kind of brace myself. Let me not get hit or something like that. It was just
yeah.
weird.
And he got crushed one time, and I don't want still taking those hits. He's our best corner.
Yeah, I'm
Dante.
glad he held on to the ball.
Yeah, thankfully, he got crushed on one of his returns. And so I don't want him back there. Him and Dante are our starting corners. We don't want to lose a starting corner, because he's, taking punt returns when he's never really done that before. And if he did that in college, fine. But in 2 years, he hasn't done that with us, and I'd rather have Lad back there. Um, really want to touch on one other thing, something I like to do. On the post game shows. I want to have a supercharger of the week to someone that we saw that played well, because there are some positives to take away from this game. Maybe could lean towards somebody you talked about earlier, but if you had to have a supercharger this week, who would that be for you?
I mean, I feel like offensively and defensively, there was only two guys like on both sides that really had that performance, and I'm not gonna say both because I mean, I'm assuming that you'll probably grab one because
Yeah,
you look at who what the plays were. I mean, actually, I'm gonna go. Nope, I can't go with him. I was gonna go Aloy Gilman because he had that nice pass breakup in that end zone when Dart kind of scrambled a little bit, kind of faked the guy out, threw it up to Wandale, he knocked it out. Um, but the reason why I'm not going with him is because when Jackson Dart tried to sneak it that one time, Gilman didn't wrap him up. He let him break the
Adam.
tackle and continued, running to the left. I'm like, oh my goodness, how are
Yeah,
you not wrapping him up and getting him on the floor? So it was gonna go Gilman, but I'm not gonna do that. Like I said, there's only two people, so I'm gonna give it to Thule. First game with multiple. I mean, I almost said first game with multiple sacks. First game with a sack at all. He hasn't had any sacks.
yeah,
Multiple sacks today. He was disruptive. I thought he played pretty well, but like you said, I also think some of those sacks can be attributed to coverage sacks. I mean, some of the time, Dart was kind of just trying to make something happen, and guys were covered downfield. But a sack is a sack. He finished the play. So I'm gonna give my supercharger of the game to Tui Polotu.
nice, well done. Yeah, for Tully, two T's. I'll give you the full stats for him: 10 total tackles, 4 sacks, one forced fumble, 5 TFLs, 7 pressures, even a special teams tackle. So yeah, he had a huge day. He was definitely mine on the defensive side, and that's who I probably would have gone with if I had to go overall. But I'll give another shout out. I'm definitely going to go with Omarion. I think this can be another leapfrog performance for him, breakout type performance. He played well last week, assuming the mantle mid-game from Najee. And then in his basically lead back opening performance with not having anybody else that split any carries or take any carries from him, and basically had the full percentage of snaps. I'm going to pull that up just so I can have the number, but 12 carries, 128 yards, and a 54-yard touchdown. Just beautiful burst. He had another big run down the sideline in the fourth quarter that gave us a chance to make a drive later
Yeah.
in the game. Then he also had 5 catches for 37 yards. Like his hands were on point. So, I think Omarion deserves a big shout out, especially knowing that there's nobody else behind him. So I think. that Omarion is well deserving of my supercharger shout out. And same with who you gave. Tooley had a great game. So if those two guys definitely deserve some love today.
Yeah, I was just trying to look for the snap counts right now, but I couldn't pull him up for the second. But yeah, no, he was literally he rarely came off the field, and it's so funny. It's so funny because when you look at some of that stuff, um, it's he had that big run for the touchdown. They had the obviously they went for two. Um, I'm trying to think what was the other play. He had another big play where like I would assume him to get like subbed out or something like that, and he was just right there on the field.
Well, he asked for it after he got that run. I think it was a 3rd and 1, or he might even have been a fourth down on in their territory early in I think it was the second quarter, and he got hit basically like at the line or at the first down line and drove the
Hmm.
one guy back like 6, 7, 8 yards, and then spun
Yeah.
off of him and then had two guys on him and ended up like a 2 yard gain turned into like a 20 yard run.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, he no, he was out there, and I think obviously you saw Hassan Haskins out there for a couple of snaps. I mean, obviously he wasn't targeted, he didn't get a carry.
Yeah, no, it's
Um,
gonna be Dell.
yeah, he didn't even receive a dial. So it's like, yeah, I mean, this guy's clearly the workhorse. He clearly is more than capable. And like we talked about earlier, it was definitely just not sure why we didn't run it more, why we didn't
Yeah.
try to run it more. So.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on this week before we wrap up this post game show?
Nah, man. I think we need to get back to doing what we do, man. Playing physical football. I mean, I'm not gonna say like, oh, we need to get back to running the football and being a Roman offense because I love what we've done the first 3 weeks, not the first 4 weeks. But it's just I think we need to just find more ways to get Lad involved. I don't know if he's like playing through injury and is like I don't know. I know he had a little issue. I think it was like week 2. We talked about it. He was playing in practice. He had the arm like taped up or braced,
I said
however
it
it
on the
was.
injury report.
Yeah, but like he hasn't been on the injury report. So, but like, I'm not saying that Chargers are hiding something, but it's like, why is he just non-existent? Like to me, it just doesn't make sense. And,
Yeah.
and, and can players go through slumps? I mean, you talk about a sophomore slump all the time. I mean, is he having one of those? I mean, potentially could be. Um, I don't know. I would like to see him get back on track. A little selfish because I got him in my fantasy league.
Same.
Uh, and he also was the only pick that I didn't hit on because I took him for an anytime touchdown. So yeah, that was like I said, just I want to see the Chargers do well. It ain't about one person, but he's a big piece in that,
Yeah.
especially going forward. I mean, there's gonna be games where we don't need him, and obviously the first 3 games, I mean, he was a marginal contributor because the whole team was just playing well, but we're gonna need him. So looking forward to him getting back on track.
Yep. So we get to go back home. We got Commanders next week. We'll preview that this week, Thursday, and you guys will hear that on Friday. Um, yeah, my last thing too, though, same thing. It's not going to be like I said. I didn't expect undefeated, so it's not going to all be sunshine and rainbows all the time. So how are we going to bounce back from adversity? How are we going to handle a loss and come back and be pros? And I think we'll bounce back the right way. Sometimes you need a reality check. I just thought that we could have played a little bit better to give ourselves a position to win the game, and we still were in position to win, even playing bad. Derwin brought that up in his presser. We had chances, and we didn't come through. So, you take it on the chin, you bounce back, and you see what happens. So, yep, we'll talk more about what we need to do adjustments wise, but I think it's not all doom and gloom, but very underwhelming performance that I think I'm interested to see what we'll do from here to move forward.
Let me ask you a question before we get out of here.
Mhm.
You think we make a trade or at any kind of position group? I mean, the only two that I would think that we would make a trade is edge and O line. Those are the only two that I would think. I mean, we're getting Mac back. I mean, Mac's gonna be back at some point this year, so it's like you don't need to, but I feel like we got to bolster that room a little bit. Like outside of Mac and Thule, there's nothing. There
Yeah,
is literally nothing. Bud is not it. And I
yeah,
don't see him in the run game. I don't see him rushing the passer. And then O-line, I mean, I think we have decent depth. And if any team has to go to their backups, it's not going to be pretty. But it's like I don't know. I feel like the injury history is too like it's too what's the word? Too consistent with go. It's too consistent with Becton. It's too consistent with even Pip. Pip is in and out of the lineup a lot of times, even when he was the starter at right tackle in previous years. He's too in and out of the lineup, I feel like. I don't know. I feel like we need to make a trade for someone that's like they don't need to be a bona fide starter, but someone that's gonna give us a little bit better than what we got
Yeah.
as a backup and someone that we know can just stay healthy. I mean, it's football. I mean, people get hurt, but I don't know. I mean,
Oh,
I'm just tired of seeing 10 get hit. I'm
yeah.
tired of seeing them get hit.
Only reason I say no is because we know how much Ortiz values draft capital, and
Mhm.
also the target's got to be worth it, right? Who's out there that's available that would make sense to trade valuable capital for? Because mid-season they're going to charge you more than if it was the off-season or trying to get rid of a salary. I think we have to wait a week or two more to see which teams would be more sellers. I think if we would have took care of business this week, Kayvon Thibodeau could have been on the board for us to grab. Well, his name was starting to pop up more and more. And then all
Mhm.
of a sudden we lose. And now if they're going to try to do something and have a competitive team and have a good D line and then a young QB that doesn't take money away from other
Mhm.
position groups, now all of a sudden they do, that Giants formula that brought them a championship with Eli Manning, where you have this great D line. And then, whatever else behind it on the defensive side. So I think we ruined the opportunity there today. So I don't know. I'm going to say no for right now just because Ortiz values that draft capital so much. But yeah, we got to figure something out. I think Becton should be back next week so that can help get Sawyer off the field because he can't. Yeah, he's lost on any type of stunt
Yeah.
and twist. He was getting beat like a drum all day long. Um, I don't think DeCluis is terrible, but he's obviously not Alt. So if we get Alt back in there, I'm hoping with him being young, an ankle sprain can get him out and hopefully back after 2 weeks. I don't expect him next week, but hopefully the week after when we're on the road, maybe we rest him one more week because that's Miami. We should be able to handle them. And then we'll get him back home for which would be Indianapolis.
Indy. Yep. Yeah, man. No, you make great points. That draft capital is something that Ortiz definitely values. So very unlikely that he parts with a lot of those high end picks, but never know. Never know what could happen. I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna stay on the side of. I think we make a deal for something for someone, but that's more just being optimistic and wanting to see something kind of happen to. Like I said, just to kind of improve that line because the first 2 weeks look really good. Last 2 weeks look really bad. So
Yep. Yep.
yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, man. So like I said, so this is a post game show. We're gonna wrap up here. Um, not the end result that we wanted. Love seeing Hampton get his breakout game, Tully get his breakout game. So you got some positives out of there for sure. But stay locked in with us. This is obviously, like Dylan said multiple times, we know we're not going undefeated, but we know that this team, with the coaching that we have, the players that we have, we're going to be in a good position to obviously make playoffs and make a long. I really do believe that we'll make a really good postseason run. I'm not gonna crown us Super Bowl champs and go into Super Bowl, but I think we got some good things in store. So a lot of things on the horizon. So appreciate y'all sticking out with us. I'm gonna keep this one short. I'm gonna end here. See y'all next week when we do our recap when we verse the Commanders. But after that, bolt up.